the way I teach Acts at Manna U is I effectively say outside of the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and John, Acts is the only history book in the New Testament, whereas in the Old Testament, there's all kinds of history and stories.
Yep.
So I like to think of the book of Acts as the key, as the gateway to the rest of the New Testament, because it provides the historical, real people context for all these letters that are going to be written later on. So what you're seeing is, I don't want to spoil where we're going with the series, but you're seeing God the Holy Spirit as the star of the show. This promise Jesus had, I have to go away, but I'm going to send you this helper. We're now seeing the Holy Spirit on display, working through the early followers of Christ as they, one, figure out how to just do life together, how to be the church, and more importantly, how to preach this message that the kingdom is here, Jesus is king. That's what we see in the book of Acts.
Does Acts ever refer to the Holy Spirit as the Parakletos, or is that only John who refers to him as that?
I don't want to be on the record of an only because it's not fresh in my brain. I'm not sure. I'm leaning towards, I think John's letter is where we hear that.
Is where we hear that?
Yeah,
okay.
as the helper. Yeah.
Interesting.
Why, I'm curious why you asked that question.
John refers to him as Parakletos. This is a legal term, like advocate. He's like the defense attorney essentially. John refers to him with that language, which is interesting. That is John. That's a separate notion. John's not a super big player in the Acts book.
Yeah.
Hardly in there at all.
Yeah.
So it just came into my mind. It's just a nerdy little detail. We had the doctor here, so I figured I'd ask.
So there's a couple ways to chop this book up. Some would say you can divide it in 3, you can divide it in 2. I like to think of it as part 1 is the birth of the church, the early church, and really the work of what I would say the OG apostles, Peter and James and John and those group.
What chapter are you taking
this is about to chapter 12.
Okay.
So 1 through 12, we're all in on what's happening as things are becoming alive. And then there's a hard turn at the end of chapter 12.
Yep.
And really from Acts 13 on, chapter 15, we see a little reemergence of everyone else. But other than that, it is all about what the Apostle Paul is doing as now the church is going to the ends of the earth.